right, what's going on, guys? Mike on the mic here, and we are bringing you back with another episode live here from Culture. We got a super special guest here in the building today, man. So we are going to be tuning into another episode here at For the Culture, presented by Culture Fresno, and we got Martin with Broke Boys in the building, man. How you doing?
It's a pleasure to be here, man. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for being allowing me to be a part of you guys' whole thing, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, of course, man. Well, I mean, you guys have been crushing it, man, and it's been a long time coming. And
Oh yeah.
you want to tell us you had a recent visit here at Culture. I know you don't necessarily partake, right? But can you
Yeah.
tell us about that?
Yeah, so I've always been an like mental health advocate, right? Talking about self-love in my platform, talking about, hey, if you're ever down and out, depression, anxiety, social anxiety is something that I struggle with. But I primarily came just for my girlfriend. My girlfriend, she's a special educator. So she definitely deals with a lot of stress at, the educational system. So we just came out here because we were like, hey, you know what? Let's find something that can, help ease the tensions, the stress, and it's a huge key importance with mental health.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I know it's been a huge part for my journey as well, and kind of breaks you out of your shell a little bit
Yeah,
too. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
If I was able to, I would,
yeah.
but unfortunately, I can't.
Yeah. All in its time, right? All
Yeah.
in its time. Man, so let's get into it, man.
Mhm.
So I want to ask you, how did you guys get the name Broke Boys? Where did that come from? Broke
Ooh,
Boys from Fresno?
that's so iconic. So a lot of people would be like, "Oh, well, broke boys is financially because you're broke, right?" And, at the time, like it was during COVID, so we all were experiencing financial burdens. But for the most part, it was also because it helped. COVID help us come together. Like it helped all of us as a group to be there for one another emotionally, and when it came to it, I was just like, you know what, like what's a catchy name? What's something that can stand out? What's something different? And when at the time when I was researching podcasts and I was researching things, like I didn't find nothing. So I was like, okay, so this is definitely can be something fresh, something new. So what stands out? And I was like, you know what? Broke Boys with the Z. And we're from Fresno. We represent the city.
Yeah, 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 definitely. So I know you being from Fresno, you've been growing up here in Fresno. Where are you from here in Fresno?
So I grew up in, I want to say it's like the Central West, the west side of Fresno. It's all agriculture. I
Really?
lived in the field, like in the fields that I worked in with my pops. So born and raised out here. I worked in the fields for about, I want to say 11 to 12 years, since I was like 13. And I've always been a hustler. I've always been trying to, make ends meet and figure things out for my family. Because like I've opened up to you on your platform. Both my parents, like they came to this country, so hey, they don't got no 401k, they don't got nothing to depend on. So who did that fall on? On us. So yeah, that motivator and that discipline switches the mindset of like, hey, you know what, I gotta execute to the fullest.
Yeah, I think being from Fresno, agriculture being one of the biggest things that comes out of here. There's a lot of hustlers out there, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of grinders definitely right out there. How do you think Fresno has shaped you?
Ooh, it definitely made me, develop a thick skin. A lot of people don't want to help out. A lot of people aren't here to be friends sometimes. Some people, they want to, I would say, just like use you in some sort of way.
Mhm.
But as long as you stay true to yourself and you still keep going, you still keep grinding, your your own efforts will pop up, will show up.
Yeah, I know a lot of people hate on Fresno, right?
Mhm.
I personally, I love Fresno. I love my city, right? Do you think Fresno is being slept on, or do you think that they're exactly where they should be?
So Fresno definitely gets slept on a lot. There's a lot of great talent, great artists that are coming out from here. You got Mia May, you got my boy Solito, you have Ralph Edwards, who's killing it right now on The Voice. You have amazing talents, legendary rappers like Fashawn. Like, come on, like you have a lot of talent here in
Mhm.
Fresno in the 559. And a lot of people leave. And sometimes they don't like to rep Fresno. And I get it. Fresno has a bad reputation, but at the same time, this is home. So, you know, I love home.
Yeah, yeah. This is definitely home. I mean, this is where my family's at. I can't Like I've always said, if I ever leave Fresno, I'm gonna come back. You
Yeah.
know, this is home. This is where my family's out. This is everything. What's your favorite go-to spot here in Fresno
Ooh.
for food, or just in general? I mean, you could throw something else out
Man,
there.
I mean, you can never go wrong with In-N-Out for sure, but for, like, a go-to, like, hole in the wall, there's a spot that growing up as a kid, we would always go, and it's called Tacos Panchos, on what's that street? What's that street? Uh, what is it? Brawley? No, it's on Shields. Damn it, I'm blanking out, and that's our
Tacos
hood.
Pancho,
Tacos Panchos.
Tacos Panchos,
Yeah, Tacos Panchos. Um, growing up in that whole area, I remember seeing them, starting off in just like the little taco stand outside, just making their ends meet, and the liquor store actually gave them the opportunity to open up a restaurant in there. So
Oh,
now they're
dope.
in the restaurant or
Yeah.
in the liquor store. I'm sorry, but your favorite go-to spot right there for sure.
Where else are we catching the Broke Boys at in Fresno?
You guys can definitely see us on all platforms. You got We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, literally all platforms. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
My favorite line that I can tell everybody is you can go ahead and Google Broke Boys and it will pop up everything.
Oh, one thing that was dope I saw you posted some time ago is you Googled yourself,
Yeah.
right? And what popped up?
It pops up everything like what Broke Boys like is dedicated for. You can research it now and it's gonna show you like a whole different thing. AI is just crazy.
Yeah, I could tell you ChatGPT knew who you were, so
Mhm. Right?
yeah, she knows, bro. She knows what's
Right.
going on. So you've been doing this since 2020, 2023?
2000, I wanna say 2021 is when it started, the idea, and then it became a thing. Um, I wanna say when we first did the recording was 22, and then we first published in 23.
And then you guys have 160
Yeah,
some odd,
we're about, like, 160 episodes in.
160 episodes. So in those 160 episodes, what's something you've realized about yourself because of podcasting?
I've always said that I got a lot of social anxiety, and then seeing the platform and getting the feedback from other people, everybody's like, "That's bullshit."
Yeah.
But it definitely is. It allowed me to get out of my comfort zone and to be more of myself and finding myself.
Have there been any episodes that kinda completely changed the direction of your podcast?
Yeah, there was a few in the first season that unfortunately, certain circumstances come and then betrayals happen and people switch up. People, um, they take advantage of you, and that shifts a lot. So there was a change of tone in a lot of my episodes very early on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. What was that like going through that, like, having to switch everything up? Because having that momentum, right, and then something disrupts like that, it kinda brings up things about, like, "Man, what am I doing?" You ever have any doubts during that time?
absolutely. You get doubts. I was getting doubts pretty frequently,
Mhm.
especially very early on. If it wasn't for the circle that I have now, if it wasn't for my boy Ivan, shout out my boy Ivan, shout out my boy Juan. If it wasn't for Kat, if it wasn't for my manager DJ, a lot of this wouldn't be possible without without them motivating me to continue going and not stopping.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And doing all these, there's so many moving parts, right? From what would you say? From recording, from editing, from scheduling,
Yes.
preparing, right? Just for guests in general. How important is it to have a team backing you?
It's important. You can only do so much yourself.
Mm,
I did it for myself for years, editing everything, being my own publisher, being everything. Trust me, like it's hard, but when you get a team and you get people that help you out, it changes the whole dynamic. And it's the beauty of it because again, like people who've been watching you from the first season, from the very first episode they drop, and then now they see what you have now,
yeah.
completely different. It's the evolution. Season 3 is evolution.
Yeah, I know on my platform we talked a little bit about you grew outside of the city first, right? And then you started getting more
Yes.
and more recognition here in the city.
Mhm.
I think one of the big things that we saw from you guys this year was working with Dog Days,
Yeah.
right? what was it like working with Dog Days and getting that opportunity for you guys?
Oh, that was just breathtaking, and it literally just came out of nowhere. The beauty of it, of staying authentic and staying you, the opportunities are gonna come to you. You don't have to force anything. The doors are gonna open on its own. You never give up, and that's one of the things that for me that I was like, you know what, like eventually everything's gonna pay off. You know, those doubts, those moments where you're just like, is this even going anywhere? Where is this going? And like I said, like you hear thousands of people listening in other countries, but you're not getting the love and the same respect here in your city. Is different. But when, Dog Days happened and it was beautifully made and a lot of long nights, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of stressful times for sure. But it was definitely like the beauty of doing it. And now like I tell DJ all the time, like I feel like I'm getting that Dog Days high,
Yeah,
just like being out in live, being out in public, and again, like being with all these other people that are coming up to you and you're interviewing them. That's one thing that I will say that it taught me how to be a better host, to come up with questions on the fly, to be, ready no matter what. Once the camera hits record, boom, no stop. Keep it going.
it's on, it's
Yeah,
on.
it's on.
Definitely develops, like, especially I know when I first started, I stumble over my words, or I'd get, like, nervous and
Yeah.
forget what to say and all that sort of stuff, so you being in that live environment, it was a live podcast,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, no, I've always been an advocate as being you. I stutter like a lot. I stutter here, and that's just who I am. You can't take that away from you know, you can't take that ability away from me. Like this is just who I am,
Yeah.
and I love being me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I know shortly after that, right, we had the Fresno, fair come through,
Yeah,
and, man, you guys got a lot of love at the Fresno fair, man.
a lot of love, man.
Lot of love, like, so what was it like being called on stage by Ralph as
Oh.
he's about to start performing, and he's killing it right now? What, he's a top seed on The Voice right now?
Yes, yes, it's
Yeah,
it's incredible, and even to this day, like we still text.
yeah,
Like it's just an incredible feeling. A lot of love, a lot of coming into it. I was so grateful to have DJ there and be a part of it because he was just like, there's a clip that I posted and the full clip actually shows DJ like, hey Martin, get on front. All right, let's go. Like get ready. This is your moment. Soak it in. And I was just like, oh shit, like I can't believe it. But yeah, it was true. It was the moment that you sit there and you're just like, wow, like I get to soak it in and I'm like, it's just like another milestone and it's a memory that I will always cherish, you know?
mhm.
So huge shout out to Ralph Edwards for allowing that to happen.
Yeah, yeah, huge shout out to him for putting on for the city right now
Yes,
in a
yes.
very loud way.
Hell yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta interview a few other artists out there as well. Can you tell us about that as well?
So Mia May, she's incredible. She's killing it. Just being a part of that. One person that I wish I was able to interview, but I had just an amazing conversation was with Lloyd.
Uh,
Lloyd was such a humble person. There's a video that I didn't even post, and I'll show it to you after this.
uh-huh.
But he literally is walking from the crowd. He's done, singing. He's done doing his thing. Comes up, and then he looks at me. We lock eyes, and he's just like, "Hey, I love what you do for the city." Dabs me up, and I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" Like, you know me? Like, that's insane.
Man, that had to be a moment for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was just a surreal moment where you just feel like so much love and so much, energy of gratitude and positivity of like, wow, like I am doing something. Wow, like everything paid off, everything that I've done.
Yeah, yeah, it's because, man, those nights where you're, especially when those nights when you're wanting to give up, you're like,
Mhm.
"Man, am I really gonna keep doing
Right.
this?" Those are the moments where
Oh,
it
fuck
pays off.
yeah. Hell yeah.
And so I thought this was dope, man. I've been keeping up with you guys for a while since we met, right?
Mhm.
But I saw this episode you guys had recently, right? Can you tell us a story behind the recent episode, how one producer united 197 countries on a single record?
Wow. That one came Brandon is amazing. Brandon came to me from a DM. He saw the video that happened with the whole Lloyd or I'm sorry, with the whole Mario
The
situation.
Mario situation.
Um, yeah, that was crazy. That Mario situation was crazy. But since he saw that viral clip, he hit me up in the DMs and he was just like, "Hey, this is what I do," and gave me this whole like bibliography about his life and about what his mission is, and I was just like, wow, like, and he was like, I'm literally only available this week before I fly out. And I was like, okay, let's schedule it in. And then we got a studio. And we were like, perfect. This is the moment. This is incredible. And meeting him was just next level. Being in his presence, him being on the Billboard magazine where Bad Bunny is featured, is insane. But he literally did it on just grinding, not taking no for an answer, going to different countries and places where, hey, you're forbidden to be in. And he was like, no, I'm so, stubborn into like, no, I gotta succeed. Yeah, and it was beautiful.
Man, that's definitely an episode you guys got to check out because wow, what a story, right?
Yes, what a story.
Man, and so you guys have had so many amazing moments, right? So many. This is probably a staple year for you guys. Would you say?
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
What would you say is the most proudest moment of the Broke Boys career so far?
Of the entire career or just this year?
Entire career, I would say.
I will always say that the most proudest moment is starting the Broke Boys. That feeling of not knowing what you want, not knowing what you want to say, not knowing exactly what you're gonna say, not knowing how it's gonna come out or how it's gonna play out, and again, not knowing anything. That was the beauty. That is something that I will always be proud of, and I will always tell anybody that asks advice if they want to get into content creation or podcasting, just throw yourself in there because that's what I did. And you learn on the way. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from all this stuff. I can give you a book of how to do it X, Y, and Z, but you still got to make these mistakes in order to perfect your own craft.
Mhm.
So I will always say that starting it is the most proudest moment.
Man, going back what 4 years now?
Yeah,
4 years now.
yeah.
So what's next for you guys, man? What do you guys got working on, and where do you want to get to?
I think the goal was definitely like this year was definitely to showcase the city and to be uh more out there with the city and more out there to showcase businesses and showcase other talent, amazing talent out here. So for the future it definitely is to continue doing what we're doing and not stopping. The gas is not off the pedal and we're still going. um i think I think knowing that we we have such a strong engine of, hey, you know what, let's not stop the content. Let's not stop believing in what we want to do. Let's keep on going. Let's push to the next level. It doesn't matter who, what, when, where, and why, or who's even trying to block us from getting these interviews. It's like, no, let's get it done. Like we have a mission. We have these abilities where we almost like ambition. Like, hey, like we don't want to stop. We want to showcase, and the ultimate goal is hopefully get recognized from all the public figures here in Fresno, like the mayor, and having him on that would be huge just for Fresno itself.
Yeah,
And I think that would be my moment of like, hey, like I accomplished everything in my town
yeah,
because I just had the mayor of Fresno on.
on
Yeah,
on as well. Man, yeah, no, those are some great goals. So I want to get DJ on here
yeah.
as well. But before I get him on, you want to shout out your team, everybody that's helping push Broke Boys forward?
Absolutely. I want to give a huge shout out to Kat. Want to give a huge shout out to my boy DJ that's here, my boy Kesey, um, Ivan, Juan, Nico, my videographer Chongo, my family, literally all the Broke Boys family, the supporters. Um, Without any of you guys' help, I wouldn't be here where I'm at today. And to be in this place, amazing. Thank you for the opportunity, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, you guys keep crushing it, man. Many more blessings to you, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
You're a dope ass dude, bro. I appreciate you coming through.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it, man.
Much love, bro.
Much love.
Let me grab. Okay.
My bad, bro. It's funny.
All right, cool. You ready, bro?
Steady.
All right, man. Thank you for welcome back. Right. All right, man. So we got DJ here with Broke Boys in the building, man. So thank you so much for taking the time to sit down
Of
with
course.
us here
Thank you
as
for
well.
having me.
Of
Thank you.
course, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're liking the spot, man. This
Oh,
is
of course. Come on, look at the scenery, dude. This is sick.
we're at a dope spot, right?
Yeah.
So I got some questions for you, right? Because I mean, how long have you been a part of Broke Boys?
So I was here when the idea of it all came out back in like COVID days. This was like 2019, 2020. And then my lifestyle at the time wasn't as stable, I should say. And so I took a little trip out. I was like, you know what? I think a podcast would be really cool, but I just don't think I'll be able to be a part of it. I still supported my boys. I rooted them on. Years later on down the road, probably like 2022, I want to say, or 2023, one of those 2 years, was when I got my lifestyle back to where it needed to be at. And then I got the link back up with my boy Martin and the other homies, and it just skyrocketed from there. They were doing their thing, and he was like, you know what, brother, I think you should be a part of this. And, I always support my guys from afar. No matter how
Mhm.
far I am, I'm going to support you in one way or another, right? And so I joined on. I was helping him out with episodes, coming up with different creative ideas, and then it really just catapulted, man. It skyrocketed from there.
And so being a part of everything, right? You
Mhm.
are from Fresno, right?
Correct. Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Born
Can
and
you
raised.
tell us a little bit about your background here in Fresno?
Yeah, so I was born and raised here in Fresno. I've lived many different places, but I grew up on the north side. Um, I mean, my life isn't as exciting as it seems. I know a lot of people who know of me are like, "Dude, you're always everywhere," and it's like it's not as nice as it seems. I should say that.
Mhm.
I've lived in many different places. I lived in Bakersfield, Clovis, Madera, Chowchilla, so many different places. But I came from a home where it wasn't one of the best situations, but my parents did what they had to do to make sure we had money on the table, food on the table, stuff like that. My mom sometimes working two jobs just to make sure bills were paid. My dad used to go and sell DVDs right in front of DD's discounts. That DVD man out there with the binder and the CDs, that was him. And then life goes on, and I was really big into sports growing up, so I was into football. I got injured my freshman year. I fractured my knee and sprained my ankle, so that cut all sports out. And then from then on out, I just kind of stuck it out with just gaming, car stuff, and videography and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned the car stuff, right? I've been
Mhm.
seeing a lot of that on your page, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that? Because one of the things I know you said, you kind of got to the right space
Right.
to be a part of, the internals of
Right.
Broke Boys, right?
Right.
But I saw you had posted that you got to the right point to start pouring your love into
The car
cars.
scene. Yeah. So funny enough, around that same time frame, once my lifestyle got a little bit more corrected, I had this car. Now it was a 1999 Lexus GS 400. It was gold green, and it was one of my very first cars. I sold it, and then I ended up buying another one that looked just like it, um, made in '98. And so I was like, you know what? Now I finally got the opportunity to. Maybe I should start building my car and become a part of a crew or something. Stumbled upon Modified Luxury Crew. They weren't really like a big crew at the time. It was just like a small local group of guys that went to the same school together. They all had the same passion and stuff. I think at the time there was only like 5 or 6 of them, and I got closer with them. They started treating me like family. My car started slowly getting built up. I was being on the podcast on the side of it as well, and I just got to watch both empires just grow at the same time. So it was kind of crazy because when we just did the episode at the Modified Luxury Crew meet at Sanger West High, it was like a full circle moment. It was like, dude, all the hard work and dedication for all those years of, building, networking, content creation, and just supporting your homies, like it goes so far. I mean, I got to see both of my groups in such high places, and it's a blessing. I think it's very important to support your friends and your family that supports you. And even when there's times where people feel like, you know what, I don't think I want to do this no more. Like I just don't see myself doing this long term. Sometimes it's not about the vision that you can see, but sometimes it's just about the road that you're on. Sometimes about the
Mhm.
journey of it all. So, I mean, yeah, it's been a fun journey for me. Even though I sold that Lexus, I'm still a part of the group. I'm building a whole nother chapter of it and stuff. So, yeah, it's been a blessing, man.
Yeah, well, it looks like some dope ass cars for sure.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
I like the Lexus you've been posting. That's the one
Yeah,
you sold?
yeah, the green one.
Oh man, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
the chrome rims, man. I miss that car. Everybody knows I've been looking to get another one, but I've actually got another Lexus that I've been building for years on out. It actually belonged to my mom back
Wow.
in 2011, and so some rough patches, but I'm finally getting it back in the shop and getting it back on the road.
Man, that's
Mhm.
dope. Man, that's
Thank you.
dope. You
Thank you.
mentioned videography too. So
Yes.
how has that played a part in your journey as well?
So funny enough, in high school, I took a videography class. Only 1 year though. I didn't do many years of that. But as a kid, I grew up doing like different types of like music videos of cars and like video games and stuff like that. So I ended up implementing that into the car scene. Once became a part of the crew, I was like, you know what? I kind of like this song. It kind of matches the vibe of the video. And then I started doing it more. I started seeing reels about it. Um, Instagram, TikTok, people really doing the same exact thing as me. I was like, oh, I gotta dive into this. I want to fall into this. And I just kept improving years and years later. I mean, all shot by an iPhone, edited by me. Shout out CapCut. Shout out Instagram, because I was only doing Instagram edits to begin with, and then I got into CapCut just this year. Um, but I
Shout out to
mean,
CapCut for all of us.
man, CapCut be saving me, bro. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so I mean, after that, I started dabbling into, like, you'll see on my page sometimes I have like promo videos for certain stores, or even if it's just another car crew, or just different types of content. Like, I just get out there, I see a good scenery, or if I'm supporting the homies, I'm like, you know what? Let me shoot a promo video for you. And they're like, okay, cool, do your thing. And I just do it for the fun of it now. I've never charged anybody for it. I've never been the type to be like, oh, $50 a reel, or you know, and there's people that do that. That's okay.
Yeah.
Charge for your work, get paid for what you do. I just do it for the love. I do it for the homies. I do it because I love what I do. And I don't feel like I want to treat it as a job to where I have to be like, oh, I got to go make $50 real quick. And
Mhm.
maybe it's the perspective that I'm seeing it as, but I don't know. That's just me.
Hey, it can evolve, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
as you're doing it, you get better and better and better at it.
Hmm.
And that helps yourself too, especially when you're creating content all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a time consuming, but
Oh, yeah.
with
Oh,
time
yeah.
you get faster and faster and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly. I used to spend like an entire hour sometimes creating a reel. Now, I mean, if I'm doing car content, I can shoot a reel and get some good content in like a span of like 5 minutes. Just
Man,
doing
okay.
editing and getting things fixed up. It doesn't take me too long.
And you know what shots to get and all that sort of
Mhm.
stuff now, right?
Angles and all that. Yeah.
So where can we catch you around Fresno, man? What are your go-to spots here in Fresno?
Oh, man, for food?
For food, for hanging out, for entertainment?
So, in terms of food, oh, that's it. Listen, I'm a big bag. I may look skinny, but I'm a big bag. I love food. Um, okay, I got three. Chicken Shack.
Oof, okay.
Let's do. Oh, you're gonna hate me when I say this one. Um, Hinoishi. I love teppanyaki. Hinoishi is definitely one of my spots. And then honestly, just on something like really low key, like if you're from Fresno, you know this spot, Alrico's Tacos, bro.
Rico's Tacos?
Alrico's Tacos, bro.
Okay.
I feel
What is
like,
that, the original $1 taco or something,
yes, bro.
right? Okay.
Yes. You see what I'm saying? Like,
She said it,
you
yeah.
can never go wrong with Alrico's Tacos. Like, cheap, always there for you. Like, come on. Like, I mean, I know the lines be pretty long. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I pass by on Ashland, I'm just like, I don't think I'm gonna stop by over there today. But back in the days when you didn't have too much and you didn't want to go to McDonald's, Alrico's was the spot.
Man, okay. I like it, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
What about, what do you think that you've learned about yourself from podcasting?
Mm. The biggest thing I learned from podcasting is probably just like verbiage, paying attention to, oh, another thing, eye contact. I don't know if you noticed that this entire time, but my eye contact has been horrible. I'm still working on that. Holding conversations with people and holding eye contact with them is one of the hardest things I've had since a kid, bro. It's
Mhm,
been hard for me. Between that and just verbiage, making sure I'm using the right terminology for certain things.
mhm.
Um, Growing up, I used to read the dictionary, like study the dictionary, just reading it, trying to figure out new words and reading a lot. And I think a lot of that I should get back into, because I like being able to hold a conversation and not have a pause in the middle of it. I notice sometimes I'll be speaking with somebody, I'm like, what's the word I'm looking for? And I get that little break and I'm like, okay, now I got to change the topics because I look stupid, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I would definitely say working on my verbiage and just eye contact. That's everything, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. I know one thing that I learned, well, it's just something that I learned, but remember when we first started,
Mm.
I would always go, "Yeah, yeah, mhm."
I
And
do
then
that a
you would
lot.
and then
I
you
do
would
that a
listen
lot.
back. It
Yeah.
was Luis actually that pointed it out to me. He's like, "Hey, bro, you keep saying He's like, "You don't have to say that. So now you'll just see me." And I'm like, "I want to say
Right.
because you're like, I'm
You're, like,
following
holding
you. I'm
back.
following you, right?"
Yeah.
And then so now I'm just like,
Okay, I get you. I get you. I think sometimes that's a good filler too. Like it keeps the noise going sometimes.
yeah,
I don't know why, but I do it's something that I do unconsciously. I get where you're coming from on that.
yeah,
Absolutely, man.
man. And so I want to highlight one of the things that you guys just did recently, right? Which
Mhm.
was at Big Fresno Fair,
Yeah.
right? Getting called on stage by Ralph, man. How was that like for you guys? What was that moment like for you?
I felt like I'm not gonna lie, I felt famous. Like when he said we're gonna get up on stage, I was like, okay, I gotta lock in. I get the fit right. I gotta lock in. And he calls us up on stage. I hear the people cheering, and I'm walking right behind Martin and Kesey, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the moment. And it doesn't really hit you until you get in the middle of the stage and you're just looking at the entire crowd. I didn't realize how many people were there. So I'm like, bro, there's thousands of people in front of me. Like there's no messing up. There's no hiccups, no nothing. Just keep it cool, do your thing. And it was one of the biggest moments for me. I think that's the most people I've ever stood in front of in my entire life. It was so inspiring. And it makes me wonder, how does Ralph feel every single time he gets on stage?
Man, imagine him on the big stage out in
Yeah.
I don't know
The
where they're
voice.
filming The Voice, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, props to Ralph.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know how he does that. My social anxiety skyrockets every time I get in a public place.
yeah,
That's one of those things it's rough for me.
yeah. I can't sing, but I imagine if I did being in that front of that many people, my voice would be cracking
Oh
for sure.
yeah, I drop the mic and walk off stage, bro. There's no way.
I'll see you guys on the next one, huh? And so, what would you say is probably one of the proudest moments that you've had with Broke Boys?
Proudest moments, I think it would be that. Between that and Dog Days. And I say that because we went from doing podcasts at Martin's house all the time, recording in the same studio, just doing what we do. And we always had ideas of going out and doing crazy stuff, but we didn't know what level crazy was. We didn't know how big we could possibly be. And I say that as in like getting the opportunity to be a part of Dog Days and then being there and seeing how big the festival was and all the people we got to interview live. Um, and then at the end of it, I mean, we were tired, we were exhausted, but looking back at that week, it was like, dude, we grinded. We really worked our asses off for that. And I mean that because me and him both have full-time jobs, right?
Mhm.
He has 2 jobs now. And during the time frame, I had just got this job working as a leasing agent for an apartment complex. So my working hours are from 8:30 to 5:30. After that, I don't got much time to do anything. And so, we're linking up, we're setting up interviews, we're trying to get people on. And it was, I'm telling you, dude, it was one of the most stressful months of my entire life. And we made it happen. And from that point on, I was like, you know what, if we can do this, we can do anything. And it inspired me. It really like made us see eye to eye on like our cooperative efforts in terms of, okay, here, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. And there's no like mix ups or misunderstandings. It was just, we got to do it. And the content came out great. The interviews were solid. We didn't really have many issues dealing with the entire podcast during the live interviews. And it just made me feel like, wow, this is what it's like to really run a podcast. And so I think that was probably one of my biggest moments, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
No, I think that was a huge moment for you guys, and I'm like, dude, shout out to you guys for being able to do that because especially Martin, I talked to him when we were at the art hop,
Yeah, I
right?
remember. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was actually on, excuse me,
Mhm.
I was on that episode,
I
right?
remember.
And I think that's the first time me and you had met in
Yes.
person, at least, right?
Yes.
And I was like, man, and he's like, yeah, it was like 10 or 11 already. And Martin's like, yeah, I got work at 2 a.m. And I'm like,
Yeah, bro.
bro, what? Like,
I still don't know how he does it. Me personally, I prioritize my sleep for everything. And he was like, yeah, I got work at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm just like, dude, go to bed.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
like, come on.
You're
And
like, I got this.
yeah, but that's determination. Sometimes you got to sacrifice that time. Sometimes you really have to sacrifice your energy for the things that you want. And even then, just making sure that you can uphold the quality of the content, even though you're sleep deprived, even though you got work early in the morning and you're only getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep.
Mhm.
It's impressive, man. But he inspires me every single day. Like I said, he works more hours than me. and I don't know how he does it. He does a lot of the editing for Broke Boys. I'll help whenever I can doing like reels and promo videos and stuff, but that dude is true determination.
Man, 100%, man. The
Mhm.
guy, he's genuine dude, man. Like I said, we had like an hour pod, and then we got to sit down like 3 hours after that, just
Yeah.
talking. And I'm like, man, dude, I could see when you speak with somebody, you can tell why they're where they're at,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And this guy deserves it for sure,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you've been, you got some stuff straightened out, and then you chase the podcast and you chase the cars, right?
Mhm.
I'm assuming those are some of your dreams.
So what's even crazier is it was a dream of mine growing up as a kid to be a part of a car crew, and I have the opportunity to actually run one. And so the first Lexus that I mentioned to you, I ended up selling it, and I was the president of Central California's chapter of GS Kings. So I had to disband the whole thing, and I sold my car. I moved to Chowchilla. It was one of those moments I had to keep correcting my life. But yeah, I mean, the podcast wasn't necessarily an immediate dream. I've never been the kind of person who wanted to be like in front of a camera. I've always been camera shy growing up. I hated taking pictures. I never knew how to pose. I never liked smiling. Like, but then after being on the podcast and like being a part of those conversations, like in the earlier episodes, sometimes it'd be 2 hours long. We'd be at Martin's house just talking for hours. And we're just like, bro, we just got to do a podcast. And we do it. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe we should run a podcast. And maybe the year before that, I was watching Joe Rogan podcasts and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I don't think that's a bad idea. So I don't think he like growing up, I wanted to be on a podcast or wanted to do something like that. It was more car oriented, but I will say I'm grateful to be on the podcast because it's opened my eyes to what it can bring you.
Mhm.
The opportunities, the growing pains, the skills that you get from it, everything. I'm grateful for all of it, bro. Honestly, yeah, absolutely.
Man, what advice would you give to the listeners that maybe don't feel like they're at the right point to start something in their lives, or maybe they're
Mm.
uncomfortable with something that they want to do? What advice would you give to them?
I would say you'll never know the outcome of anything unless you do it. You can guess it. And trust me when I say this, I am the type of person to overthink a lot. I will think and analyze a situation before I go and do something. If you invite me to a party, I'm going to overanalyze the hell out of it. I'm going to be like, who's there? Okay, what time I got to be there? What time I got to leave? How long am I going to stay? This person's going to be there. I don't really mess with like I analyze everything. But at the end of the day, even I can still be wrong. Even taking all that time to analyze all of that, I can still be wrong. And I've done it multiple times over and over again. So I believe just do it. Like Nike, just do it. What are you going to lose out of it? Time, energy. I mean, yeah, you're already losing time. I mean, you're watching this podcast, you're losing time now. You could be going to the gym, you could be washing your car, you could be doing anything. You're losing time and energy regardless. Just give it a try. Do something about it. Don't let it rack your brain. Don't stress yourself out. Don't, oh, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. You got the time to do it now. Do it now. I think that's the only inspirational thing I gotta say, man.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'd agree with that 100%. Because
Mm,
even when we started all of this, I was like, it has to be perfect. We have to have everything and
mm,
this and that. And man, not because of me, but shout out David.
mm,
He was the one that was just like pushing us to do everything. And it was just like, all right, we don't have the perfect equipment. Well, it doesn't matter. We got this.
mm,
We had something to start with.
mm.
Right. And that's all it took. And I mean, now we're here in this beautiful place.
Right. And all it took was a try.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna get it right the first time. You're not gonna get it perfect. You're not gonna know everything the first time. Just give it a try.
Mm.
I think to end that question as well, I would just say even if you do try and you fail, at least you have something to learn. At least you
Mhm.
gain something from it. There's a saying, and I know I don't know it word for word, but it's like, even if you do try and you fail, you still gain the knowledge of the lesson. You still learned, okay, the mistakes that I made from this opportunity that I took, I can re-implement it, go back into the situation knowing what not to do and try it again. And if you fail again, try again. people are so afraid of failure that they don't realize, like, some of the most successful people failed many times before they got to their level. Some people who are successful are still failing. No, there's no such thing as perfect success.
You just learn along the way, and it gets
Mhm.
better and better, and you just yeah, I love this. It's a I associate this to because I'm a gambler, right?
Yeah.
You only lose when you quit, bro.
Yep. What do they say? That next spin could have been your biggest win.
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly,
saying,
man.
bro. It's real.
Run it, bro. Run it.
Heck yeah.
Man, well, DJ, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's
Of
a pleasure
course.
having you. Thank you and Martin. I hope you guys keep crushing it, man. I wish you guys nothing but the best, man. Continued blessings, man. And thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you on the next one. Make sure you guys follow at Culture Fresno. Make sure you guys give him a follow. DJ, you're at Hootie?
Wode.
Wode.
Mhm.
I always say Hootie, my
I
bad.
know, but you're good. You're good.
Make sure you guys give Broke Boys a follow as well as Martin. He's on the page out there, but we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks again. Much love. Peace.
Peace.